So, hi everyone. Welcome back to another one of my TikToks, and we have, as you can see, a very special video today because today, as you know, within Indigenous Liveries, Townsville was officially the final time we'll see them, unless someone has a dramatic change of heart and takes it for Perth, which is very unlikely. But we are going to be ranking some of the Indigenous Liveries we've had throughout the last two rounds at Darwin and Townsville. Now, some were hot and some weren't. But so I decided, instead of doing it by myself, I've rung together some friends in order to help me. So as you can see, we've got Cass, who does her own internet article called Racing/Pics. Is that right, Cass? Racing and Pics, is that right?
Racing Clips and Pics, yeah.
Thank you. Racing Clips and Pics. She'll be assisting me tonight as well. We've also got Maddie, who is from Flat Chat Racing. Say hello.
Hey guys.
And she's also doing her own, making some phone cases of supercar drivers as well. So it's very exciting. We've also got Katie, who runs Between the Lines Sport as well. Yep, hello, Katie. I've also roped in my friend Maria, who is also a big Red Bull fan as well. And you can see in the middle, we've got Georgia, who, while is acting like a recording monitor, she'll also be weighing in throughout some of her opinions as well throughout this recording. So, without further ado, we're going to get started. Now, some of the rankings we will see throughout this video, I have gone together and put together what I feel like is the best way to describe them, really. And I'll explain to you viewers of why I put it. So, the first ranking I've got is Gold Coach Speed Chicane. Second tier is Brock Feeney's Beard. Because, yes, while I will admit it was a little bit interesting at the start of the year to see him age about 25 years into the future, it has started growing on me. So, Brock Feeney's Beard, while it's great, it's not quite Gold Coast Speed Chicane.
What did he say?
I've also got in the mid tier, I can see the face, Kai Allen's Cooking, because I've seen his cooking, and while it's great, it's not exactly the best. Then we've got Will Brown's Haircut, and then finally, the worst one of them all is Randall Mostert and Alan Short. So, without any further ado, we are ready to start. So let's go through the first one. As you can see, we've got all 20 of the Indigenous liveries we've had. We've also got a bonus one because Alice Buckley did her own as well. So let's start off with the Red Bull Ampol Racing Indigenous livery. For me, I feel like it's Brock Feeney's Beard because while I felt like it was great, there was just others that were a bit better.
I think I have to agree there. I think it's always a nice one. I think Red Bull always do really great Indigenous liveries, but I can't say necessarily that it is like peak top tier, but it is definitely up there.
Yeah, I agree. I reckon that's a good place to start.
All right.
Yeah, I'd say there as well. It's similar to the ones that they've done last year with a little bit of twist. I mean, they always have that kind of similar style because of the collaboration with the Clontar Foundation. So they always have that kind of similar style due to the cars and the designs that those kids make.
You guys are good, but I'm afraid it's Brock Feeney's Beard because, like we all agree, it's decent, but it's not quite top tier, unfortunately, because there's definitely been more top tier ones later on. Now, we're going to move on to Matt Stone Racing, and the first one, we've got the Jacqueline Brock livery. Now, for me, it was between Brock Feeney's Beard and Kai Allen's Cooking, because while I felt like it was decent, I felt like I wasn't quite clicking with that one.
I'd probably have it more towards Kai Allen's Cooking, possibly even Will Brown's Haircut. It's just, it's not I don't know necessarily if it's taking the same color scheme that he always has and traditionally adding the Indigenous livery on top of it, but it just doesn't, I don't think it really like gels for me personally.
I would agree with Cass there. Like, I wouldn't say it's the greatest, but I quite liked it myself.
I reckon Kai Allen's Cooking. Like,
Yeah.
It's mid-pack.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that one. It's Kai Allen's Cooking because, like I said, while it was decent, it's not one that we vibe with very well. Right, I think this next one, I think we can agree, is pretty unanimous. I don't know if it is. We have, if I remember right, Cam Hill's quote-unquote Indigenous livery. For me, I don't know if you guys agree with me. It's Randall, Mostert, and Alan Short. I'm sorry. Like, BJR, you were probably the most disappointing team with the Indigenous liveries. And this was the absolute disappointment.
Yeah, I reckon it's down there just because it doesn't really feel like an Indigenous livery. Like, I understand there are restrictions around what sponsors want and the agreements there. But yeah, it definitely doesn't feel as creative.
I would
think it
agree
definitely.
about the same. Oh,
Sorry.
You can continue, Katie.
okay. I would agree it's the same. Like what Maddie said, there are sponsor obligations, but sponsors go into this knowing that there is one round for the whole year that their sponsor may be inflicted in some way, but we'll see later on with, say, the Penrite car, which is an amazing one to work with.
Oh, I just wanted to say that I definitely think it does belong in the Randall Mustard and Ellen shorts. Just it didn't really hit for me, to be honest.
I'm sorry, BJR. In fact, I wish I should have had a even worse Pacific tier for you guys, because I will be real, you guys were a bit of a disappointment. But for now, I'm being kind enough, and you're putting it in the shorts tier. Like, it's shorts certified. Like, I'm sorry, it has the qualifications. It is 100% the worst Indigenous livery. I'm sorry, it just really is. Okay, next up, we've got Macaulay Jones's Indigenous livery.
I think it automatically has to go above Cam Hill's. I think at the very least, they incorporated some of the really beautiful traditional Indigenous art with the dot painting design, and they had that on the car. It wasn't anywhere near Cam Hill's concept on his car at all. So I think it at least has to go Will Brown's haircut at the very least.
I'm not sure. Like, I think it's between Kylan's cooking and Will Brown's haircut, because I think Pizza Hut came to the party in terms of having that flexibility as a sponsor. They've incorporated, the Indigenous style really well into that car. So I don't know. Definitely better than the other BJR car, but I don't know if it's better than Jack LeBrock's.
I personally think it's better than Cam Hill's in a way. I feel like was mentioned, there was effort there, and they incorporated the Indigenous pattern to some degree on it, and it worked well with the colour scheme and the sponsorship, and it looked harmonious.
BJR, I know I bagged on you a lot throughout this video so far, but your saving grace was Macaulay Jones's one. For me, absolutely want to give you your own tier. Like, if you had 3 dull ones, I would have given you your own tier. So, BJR, you saved yourself. Right, now let's move on, because we've got, I think, probably the hardest ones to pick where to rank them. We've got Chaz's Mostard's Indigenous livery. Now, for me, it was definitely top 2, but I found it very hard to pick which one. So, I want to toss it to you guys. Where would you put Chaz Mostard's Indigenous livery?
I can't, I probably can't say much. Given that it's one of my favorite drivers in that, I'm going to be extremely biased, obviously. I would say 100% it goes up there with the Gold Coast Beach Chicane. I have to say that it was really quite beautiful, actually. I noticed, even Ryan Wood, which I know we're going to discuss that in a second, but they just work together so well.
We already know Cass is legit want to put it in her own tier whatsoever.
Might be controversial, but I reckon Brock Feeney's beard. Only because I've got sort of 4 or 5 other liveries in mind that are ahead of this for me personally.
I think Brock Feeney's beard, but behind the Red Bull. No particular reason. But to be fair, though the WAU ones and the Red Bull ones, for me, are kind of in line. I adore both of those cars. Both of them work really well, but I feel, in a way, Chaz's actually has more of a story.
I reckon I'm a bit stuck with this one. I quite liked it. I don't know, maybe Brock Feeney's beard, but I do find it a little bit better than the Red Bulls.
Red Bull, you guys are decent. Unfortunately, Mostard just outdid you guys, really. I'm sorry. Mostard just outdid you guys. Oh, WAU in general just outdid you guys. So now we can move on. Now, Ryan Wood's one was definitely the most unique, because for the first time we had a bit of New Zealand sprinkleness into it as well, which was absolutely amazing. Again, a hard time for me, to be honest, deciding, because it was definitely one of the top 2 for me, between the Gold Coast Beach Chicane and Brock Feeney's beard.
I feel like it's the Gold Coast Beach Chicane, just because of the way that WAU have taken this idea of Indigenous and have tied it back to Woody being Maori, and in a way it goes out of the normal of what is considered Indigenous.
I'm going to put it out there, because I'm not going to put it in here, but for supercar teams in the future, if you have a Kiwi on your team, please do a Kiwi indigenous livery for the future. Like that's all. I think I'm speaking of everyone here tonight. Please do that. 2027, if you're going to do a non-indigenous livery and you have a Kiwi on the team, please do more New Zealand indigenous liveries. I want to see them. And I think I speak when I say we all want to see more indigenous New Zealand liveries in 2027. Because that was absolutely amazing.
Once again, we're going like bias on this as a new person. No, in all honesty, I have to agree with Katie. I have to agree. I think it really kind of, I guess you can probably say it actually probably outshone Mostert's one a bit more, actually. I think just with the Māori connection and that it had to the New Zealand, like just the Indigenous culture itself, it was so different. We've seen the Australian Indigenous, we can appreciate that every time, but realistically, looking at it from like an Australian Supercars fan, looking at it from that standpoint, how often have we seen a livery inspired by Māori culture? We've never seen that really. We can appreciate both. And yeah, I have to say Gold Coast Beach Chicane 100% is where it probably ideally deserves to be, I think.
Definitely Gold Coast Beach Chicane. I think it's unique. I think it, it takes a part of a driver's history and it puts it on display. And yeah, I would have loved to see that run in Taupo and in Christchurch, but we'll take Darwin instead. So yeah, run it more.
It would have been awesome if they ran it in New Zealand, but unfortunately, I did wait to the Indigenous round. And like I said, if you want more New Zealand Indigenous liveries, please more in the future. So Ryan Wood outshined Chaz Mostert this year, and he outshines him on the tier list here. It is the first one into the highest tier of him on the Gold Coast Beach Chicane. I hope you enjoyed the honour, Ryan Wood.
Yeah, I have to agree. Gold Coast Beach. The Beach Chicane has to be my favourite because as a Kiwi, seeing Māori designs for Fi-Fi specifically was incredible. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. George is from New Zealand, guys, if you don't know. So, totally, maybe a little bit biased, me, Joe, but no, it's in all seriousness, it's a very iconic livery, I must say, and hopefully they run more of it in the future. Now we move on to Shell V Power's livery, and I think this was a little bit mid, like Kai Allen's cooking, the mid tier for me, and I can see one of us is a DJR fan, so she is absolutely about to absolutely kick me to the ground. Let me explain. While it was decent, don't get me wrong, it was absolutely decent. I will be honest. For me, I did kind of wish they tried a little bit more when I saw like Red Bull and also what WAU. Even I will go on a limb and say Tickford, Penrite, all those guys did. Now there was worse. Don't get me wrong, right? But I just didn't particularly click with that one really. Now, Maddie, I know you have a different opinion about this, and you're absolutely about to steam me. But what do you think?
So I'm going to go on the record and say I'm a Scotty Mac fan and not a DJR fan.
Oh, okay, thank God. Okay, I was about to say, I'm about to get absolutely steamed here.
DJR, I reckon, between Kyle and cooking and Will Brown's haircut for me. This has definitely been bumped down, seeing as you guys did more for the Minions movie than for the Indigenous livery. But it's more than previous years. Like I said, I understand there's restrictions for sponsors and, what colours you can use on different logos and that sort of thing. So completely understanding of that, and no disrespect to the artists, but yeah, not hitting for me.
If you were living under a rock, by the way, if you want to know what I refer to, DJI ran a Minions collaboration in the past weekend at Townsville, and they basically made it yellow. And I'll just say, DJI, very disappointed that you didn't commit to the full role, because I thought you would do what they did with Star Wars and HRT back in the day. So I was a little bit disappointed. I can't lie, DJI.
Look, I'd probably put it, if I'm going to be nice, like if I'm going to be full honest, full nice, I'd probably put it like lower end of Kai Allen's cooking. I probably wouldn't drop it any lower, but it would have to be basically like the last one on the Kai Allen's cooking, because it was okay. And as mentioned, obviously, like colors and coordinating that is obviously hard. You can't necessarily go too far away from the traditional colors of the sponsors because they sign contracts and things like that for it. So it's hard. It was a nice livery. It looked great on the weekend, but I would say lower end of Kai Allen's cooking.
It's definitely a step up from last year, where they only did the indigenous things on the bonnet. However, I feel like, especially with the Shell collaboration, Shell being a kind of petrol gas station kind of thing, you could have, like, no disrespect to the artist, I love indigenous art and the way that it tells the story.
DJ, if you are listening to this, please put in more effort next year. I know you are very, very strong on keeping it the same. I mean, you look at this year's livery that you're running, apart from the Indigenous round. Literally, last year's and this year's livery is the exact same. But please, next year, just please, give it some effort next year. That's all we ask. All right, now we move on. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this one's very unanimous. We've got Aaron Cameron's Indigenous livery. I feel like this was Gold Coast Beach Chicane. Like, BRT, they absolutely knock it out of the park every year with the Indigenous rounds, but I feel like this is Gold Coast Beach Chicane.
Yeah, absolutely top tier. No further comments. It looks great. A lot of effort put in. Love it. Great job as always.
I don't really think there's anything else to add. I think that's pretty much summed up in the best way possible. It was
BRT cooked, no notes.
Yeah, exactly right. I think they always do really well with the Indigenous liveries. I think most years in that they've done something really kind of left of field, really just completely different, going away from the traditional colours. Like, we looked at Aaron Cameron's car, and what colours does he normally run compared to the Indigenous livery that he ran? Totally different colour scheme entirely.
They always knock it out of the park. And when you consider, like, I think most of the year it's white, red, and blue. They really knocked it out of the park. Katie said it best. They knocked it out of the park. No crumbs. So, guys, BRT. I know your form has dipped in recent races. It has gone off the hype train. It's gone off the rails. But you at least get top tier for the Gold Coast Beach Chicane. Good going, guys. Now, moving on, we have Cooper Murray's Indigenous livery. Now, I will be honest, I feel like this is in the tier of Will Brown's haircut for me because, okay, they did put a bit of effort in, but it's not the worst, but I feel like I wish they gave it more effort.
It's kind of hard, I think. I don't know if there was necessarily anything that, like, wowed me when it came to this livery, but I would probably still have to put it higher than Cam Hill's car. I think it's hard. Like, you're comparing, like, in this current ranking system, our tier system we have here, we're currently ranking, and Cam Hill's design had very little, if none,
nothing
of
basically.
Indigenous design at all.
Yeah.
But at least with these cars and that, they had the somewhat of a design on it. So I'd probably put it at Will Brown's haircut, if anything.
I feel like it's not a standout, but it's not a bad livery either. I feel like it's a solid Indigenous livery.
Between Kylan's cooking and Will Brown's haircut, didn't hit for me. Erebus, don't sue me, I can't afford it.
I reckon Will Brown's haircut, like, don't get me wrong, I did quite like it, but I just think it could have been a little bit better. That's really all I can say about it.
It's Will Brown's haircut, really. Like, you guys gave it a go, but come on, Erebus. Like, come on, guys. Like, really, you gotta be doing a lot better than that. Next one, we have Andre Heimgartner's Indigenous livery. Now, this was the first one that made me go like, oh my god, I will be honest with BJR. I feel like for me, it's between Kai Allen's cooking and Will Brown's haircut because, yes, it was alright for me, but I just didn't vibe with it because it was like, I just felt such a lack of effort that got put into this Indigenous livery.
I think you'd probably put it Kai Allen's cooking just because we've ranked the other two sort of lower. I wouldn't put it any higher than that though, because I think there are better liveries coming up, and even the ones we've just put in, I think are better and more creative than this one.
I reckon Kai Allen's cooking. I liked the Indigenous details on the red parts of the livery. And I think those details were done really well. Obviously, it's a shame it's not on more of the car.
I feel like Kai's cooking as well. Like it wasn't a lot, but what they did was really well done. Sometimes I guess simplicity is better than overcrowding and making it too much. But it would have been nice to see what could have been done if they continued that design all the way across the car.
I reckon Kylan's cooking, just because I thought that it was the better one of the Brad Jones Racing cars. I just think a lot more effort was put into that one. So yeah, Kylan's cooking.
PGR, you like I said, you guys slowly redeemed yourself after Cam Hill. You guys redeemed yourself, but please just put in more effort next time, guys. Now, Cass actually just mentioned this in the chat, actually, but I'm going to mention it here. But I am a complete lunatic, and I forgot David Reynolds' Indigenous livery. So, unfortunately, it is not on here because I am such an idiot. Really, but I guess I'll ask you guys. Like, I'll put this in the final editing later. I'll magically edit David Reynolds' livery in a bit later. Oh dear, the beauty of live recording. But where would you put David Reynolds' Indigenous livery? I felt like that one was Gold Coast Beach Chicane because they really knocked it out of the park. Cass, I'll start with you. Thank you for letting me know. I completely had to be an idiot and forget about it. So, yeah.
I have to mention, I really thought that I was blind for a second and I thought it was there and I wasn't seeing it, but...
No, I didn't realize until you mentioned it and I looked and I was like, oh, God. I'll edit it in the final part.
Look, I think I'd probably put it maybe... I don't know, like for me personally, probably wasn't Gold Coast Beach Chicane. I'd probably put it like high-end Brock Feeney's beard. I think that's just me though. I think. Thank
you, Cass, for me. Editing Min, if you're seeing this in the future, please make sure you put in David Reynolds' livery in the final editing before you look like a complete lunatic.
I'm gonna have to go top tier. Sorry, Cass. I really liked it. I think Snowy Caravans do a great job every time. They did a great job last year. And to be honest, having Indigenous merch added a bonus point for me. I think that was a really good use as well.
Oh yeah, and then Indigenous merch they knocked out of the park. If I had a separate tier for Indigenous merch, I'd definitely put that top tier as well.
Sorry, Cass, but I also believe that it is top tier. I love the way that they've incorporated the red and the white to kind of tell the story. And I also added on that, I also loved how they brought it to Townsville as well. One of the only teams to actually bring it to Townsville as well, to showcase it more. And yeah, I love the way that they've just incorporated the colors, and despite it taking up the whole car and only being 2 colors, it doesn't look messy at all. And I believe that it actually, I guess in a way, it kind of looks like a marble effect.
And like you said, they were, I think, one of the only teams, actually didn't realize, they were one of the only teams to carry on their Indigenous livery for Townsville, really, which...
I'm sorry, guys, but I'm going to say it's top tier. Like, when I saw the photos come out on socials, I was like, whoa. Like, I was kind of speechless, to be honest. Like, I love it, to be honest, and I think they've done a really, really good job. And even with the merch included, love it. So top tier.
Yeah, sorry, Cass, I think you got really outnumbered there, Cass, unfortunately. So, so David Reynolds here will be in the Gold Coast Beach Chicane because like it was pretty cool, that one, and the way they did it. And also, Cass, thank you for mentioning. I completely forgot about that. Of his livery. Sorry, David. That was completely by accident. I promise. Oh gosh. Moving on, we've got Anton De Pasquale's Indigenous livery. For me, I felt like it was Brock Feeney's beard because yes, it was decent. Don't get me wrong. It was a very good effort from Team 18. I mean, Team 18 across the board did a pretty good job, but definitely David Reynolds' one was a lot better. And for Anton's one, yeah, it was all right. Maybe a little bit was missing, but it was still a very good effort. But
this one is top tier for me. I don't know. I feel like for me, the color choice and the color palette that they used to make this design, I think it really stood out, especially with the black DeWalt and the black hood and that all the details with the black, but then having the similar colors, so like the orange, the reds, the yellows. around the entirety of the car, I think really stood out. So where you guys like David Riddle's car, I was a big Anton fan with this one, and it has to go for the Gold Coast Beach Chicane for me.
Wait to see. I love to hear what the others say, and imagine if they go the opposite as well.
Sorry, Cass. It's Boston's Beach for me. For me, it's a really good livery. I reckon it's on par with Mozzie's. I think it was a really good use of the yellow, the DeWalt colors, having it like detailed but large on the car. I really like that, but yeah, just not quite pushing that S tier or like top tier for me.
I'd put it in Brock Feeney's beard. It's a nice car, but compared to Reynolds' car, I feel like they could have done a little bit more, but overall the design was solid and really nice.
I'm not gonna lie, I've got to agree with Cass. I found it a top tier livery, to be honest. Like, once again, when I saw it drop on socials, I was kind of shocked. Like, I don't know, it just made me speechless. So I do agree with Cass on this. I just find it Gold Coast Beach again.
Okay. Well, we've got a split opinion here. I think the majority of us went for Brock V's beard.
We should make another tier between the two. Make another tier between the two. Undecided.
Inconclusive.
Or can we just rate Team 18 as just Gold Coast Beach Chicane, just or like around the board, just all around the board, just put them both up there.
You know what? Stuff it. I'm just gonna put this one Gold Coast Beach Chicane. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do, right? Put this in my final editing. I'm gonna put a separate one and then magically make it undecided. Just put, but no, we're just gonna Gold Coast Beach Chicane. Whole Team 18. You guys knocked it out of the park. Really, you guys knocked it out of the park. Like, seriously, really, that was a great job. But you guys did a fantastic job, Team 18. You've made us completely undecided as well to a point. So, yeah, great job, guys. Now, moving on, we have Jackson Ward's Indigenous livery. I can't lie. I had a hard time. I wasn't really too sure where to put this one. No, it's not top tier. It's definitely not. It's not even second tier. I felt like for me, it was like... I don't know. It felt like mid... I felt mid-tier, but I want to hear you. I had a very hard time deciding. Katie's giving me a lot of looks here, so I'll let Katie... what do you think? Where would you put Jackson Ward's Indigenous livery?
Personally, I absolutely adored that car. But then again, I'm a sucker for a good black and white kind of color scheme. I feel like it just worked really well with the objective car just because of the color scheme. And the design on it is not that dot pattern kind of thing. And it was really cool to me to see such a stark contrast between the Red Bull car and the objective car, which is run by the same team, but the directions in which they took it were completely different. And despite Jackson's car being not at the front, I found myself paying attention to that car more and how well it looked on track and how well it's portrayed a message. So I think it's Gold Coast Beach Chicane. Totally not biased, but we'll see how it goes.
Totally not biased. Oh, that's a bold one.
I have to agree with Katie here. I think it definitely goes Gold Coast Beach Chicane. I think it was really beautiful. It kind of it goes like not against the traditional dot painting design, but it was more like it was so different. I've never seen it before. And it's the fact that it's actually a painting. Like, it's actually a painting, and they put that design onto the car itself. And it still worked cohesively well. Like, sometimes the issues is you take a painting itself, which is beautiful on traditional canvas and things like that. You put it onto a car and it doesn't implement the same meaning or the same concept. But this, for me, it hit different, I have to admit. It was really beautiful. So I have to say Gold Coast Beach Chicane for that one.
I'm going to say Brock Feeney's beard. I agree. It's a lovely livery. It's different. It's unique. I love the incorporation of the Snowy Mountains. That's completely different to what you expect coming into a Darwin round. So in my mind, it's sort of sitting in that similar unique category as Ryan Wood. But for me, it just didn't quite hit the same. So Brock Feeney's beard.
I won't lie, I was a little bit undecided with this one. I think I might put it Brock Feeney's beard though. I don't really have anything else I need to say about it. I'm a bit undecided, and yeah.
We need an undecided category. I think we need an undecided category. I feel like now that you put it that way, I think we'll be happy. I think I'll happily put it in Brock Feeney's beard. How will we feel about that? Do we feel alright about that? I feel like that it is, because now when you put it in that context, it was definitely very nice. I made a grave mistake, by the way, when I first initially looked at it. It's definitely very decent when you put it that way. Jackson, more of you watch this. I'm so sorry, mate. I wasn't familiar with your game, Jackson. I apologize. Oh boy, I'm going to get absolutely rinsed by him if he sees this. Now, James Golding's livery. This one is top tier. Like Gold Coast Beach Chicane. It's absolutely top tier for me because similar to Aaron Cameron, BRT knocked out of the park with both drivers, and they've done it here with James Golding's livery.
I'd probably have to put a Gold Coast Beach Chicane. I don't know. Once again, it was one of those liveries that I looked at it and I saw and I went, wow, that's like so different. It's so out of left field. Like I've never seen that combo before. And the fact that it was like it was green, like the combination was green, and how common is traditional painting in green of all colors. It was beautiful. I really can't say anything bad about it. I think it's really one of the best ones that they did this year, I think.
Top tier, another BRT banger. They always do a good job, so that's all.
Katie, did BRT ain't no crumbs with this one? Would you say?
As always, they could. Yeah. It's BRT. Like you can always trust BRT to make a great car, great indigenous livery car. You know, BRT are always the ones that are brave enough to step out of the box and make a car that not only is left field, but is also really aesthetically pleasing, and it always catches your eye no matter where they are on the field and makes you think, wow, I really like this car and what it stands for.
This, I am going to have to put it top tier. Like, I am the same with Team 18. Once again, when I saw it on social media, I was shocked and honestly speechless. And I think Blanchard Racing did an amazing job with both of them. And I've got to say top tier. And I was staring at it the whole weekend. So definitely top tier for me.
BRT, if you need... I want to know who is your livery designer, because I want to bow down to you and absolutely praise you as my king, because that you guys knocked it out of the park yet again this year. And I don't know what you're gonna cook up for next year, but just continue doing what you're doing, guys, please. Like, that's all I ask. Moving on now, we've got the second of the Erebus ones, which is Job Stewart's solo indigenous livery. I had a tough time deciding this one because for me it was between Brock Feeney's beard and Kai Allen's cooking, because granted it was obviously sponsorship heavy. I did feel like they put in a decent amount of effort with that livery.
I'm probably on the fence with this one as well. I think it's probably definitely a hard one to actually rank and tier in comparison to the rest of them. Just as you said, it's so just sponsor heavy, and that was the whole concept. I would probably, if I had to choose one, because we have to, I would probably say Will Brown's haircut with the other Erebus, just because I feel like everyone above them currently has put in dramatically more effort, or there's more going on, that it looks more pleasing to the eye, whereas I feel like this one kind of fell a bit flat.
I'll put it with the other Erebus livery. It's good, it's fine. It looks nice, but it doesn't stand out as an indigenous livery for me.
I'd also put it with the Erebus. Car. I feel like, the Solo Energy colors they're a good pairing. It was a nice car, but again, didn't really stand out and felt more sponsor heavy than it did for an indigenous round.
I've got to agree. Like, as much as it looks nice, I think it should be with the other Erebus one. I just think there should have been a little bit more effort put into it. So I've got to say Will Brown's haircut.
Yeah, so Erebus, if you want to remove yourself from the Will Brown haircut club, please put in more effort next year, guys. You guys fell a little bit flat. Now, oh my gosh, I had a hard time with this one. Penrite's indigenous livery, like,
what did he say?
Katie's giving me the look. No, okay, let me explain. In a good sense, I had a hard time deciding between the top two because it was amazing. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love that Penrite livery from the bottom of my heart. It was so, so good. But I could not decide. It was between the top two, really, for me. It was one or the other, really. I had a hard time. Katie is shaking her head at me, so I'm going to let Katie go ahead. Why are you shaking her head? Where would you put this one, Katie?
In my opinion, this is the best livery that was created from the indigenous liveries. Penrite has a great colour scheme to work with. Black and gold, you can work with a lot of things with that. And Penrite sponsors, you can move that around. But the way that they've incorporated the blacks and the gold for the indigenous livery, not only did it look stunning, just the colour-wise, but it was a great way to give the indigenous liveries. Plus, the suits really tied it together. And yet another point for them bringing it to Townsville as well. And can confirm from on-ground sources, it looks better in real life.
Amen to that, really. And like I said, I was on the ground as well, so I can definitely vouch your opinion, Kate. It was such a it was so hard for me to decide, but yeah, it was so good.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck between the top two tiers. I could not put it any lower. I will say that. I probably would never put a design like that any lower. But I don't know necessarily, for me personally, if it really hit like Gold Coast beat chicane type thing. I feel like there probably could have been a lot more. And I'm gonna say, based off the fact that some of you guys had probably seen it in person, and it probably does look different in person. But based on watching it from TV at home, I don't think it looked the same. It probably didn't give the same vibe. So I would say Brock Feeney's beard is where I would rank it personally.
I was going to say Brock Feeney's beard, but looking at, I like it more than the DeWalt car. And because the DeWalt car's in Gold Coast Beach Chicane, I'm going to have to put it up there.
Yeah. Conflicting statements here you've given us, Penrite. You're making us very conflicted here.
I love it. It looks great, but yeah.
I won't lie, this actually was my favourite livery of them all. I don't know if that's because I'm a Penrite fan, but I've got to say Gold Coast Beach Chicane. I loved it, found it amazing to see on screen. Once again, could just be biased, but I also love the suits. I think it looked amazing, so I got to go Gold Coast Beach again.
If I had to decide, because maybe a little bit influenced because I was up close as well, I think it's Gold Coast Beach again, because I don't know, for me, just seeing it up close, it just made it more iconic. Like, it was really good in person, and for me, it was just such a good livery as well. Good job, Penrite. You guys knocked it out of the park this year as well, and can't wait to see what you guys come up with in 2027. Right, now we've got the second of the Matt Stone Racing guys, which is Zach Bates. Now, I will be honest, this is similar vibes to Jack LeBrock. It was pretty much surrounded with the colours on the current livery. So, at first, I thought it was decent, but now, as the liveries came, I didn't really vibe with it as much. So, I felt like this was Kyle Allen's cooking for me, because it just felt like it was more around the colours of the actual livery itself.
I'd probably say I agree with Kyle Allen's cooking. I think it was definitely a good design. I think they probably could have been more to it, but I love the cohesiveness of it and the way that it just sort of all flowed together really nicely. Like, there wasn't anything that stood out majorly where it made it look awkward or things like that in the design itself. I would rank it higher than Jack LeBrock's car though. So when it's ranked, I would put it higher than all the current Kyle Allen's cooking ranking tiers.
Oh, I reckon I was almost going to say the bottom of Brock Feeney's beard. I really like it. I think they've done a really good design over the entire car. And I like the tie-in with the sponsor, having it representative of where the sponsors, the land the sponsor is on. So
I agree. In bottom of Brooke Finney's beard top of Kai Allen's cooking. I feel like it was a very cohesive livery. It didn't really look like it was just didn't look like it was a rush job. It looked like there was time and thought put into it, especially as well with it.
I'm a bit undecided. Like, I think it is better than Jack LeBrock's. I found it the better Matt Stone racing cars. If I had to put it somewhere, I would put it at probably the end of Brooke Finney's beard. It's like I quite liked it. I think obviously yes, it is the better of one of the Matt Stone racing. So I think there, to be honest.
This one was definitely the better one, really. Yeah, Brooke Finney's beard, like Mercy said, they did do a much better job with this one compared to what it did with Jack LeBrock. And hopefully next year, who knows what they'll cook up next year with the Indigenous liveries. Right, we have a few left to go here. We've got Premier's Indigenous livery. In my case, I had a hard time deciding. Like, maybe it was just the fact that, for me, you know, as it was the first livery that officially got announced, at first I thought I would still put at Brooke Finney's beard because I definitely liked the design they did. Like, I mean, it's just about ready to squeeze in. Like, they did the dolphins and they did the whole Indigenous art across the front. I do feel like it was just about squeezing the Brooke Finney's beard as the liveries kept coming. But it just squeezes into Brooke Finney's beard for me.
I'd probably say the higher end of Kai Allen's cooking. I think, as I've mentioned for a few of them, I think it was really nice, really cohesive. Like, it made sense and it flowed from the front of the car all the way through to the back end of the car. It was one, like, ideally a painting. It was one masterpiece in itself. But I wouldn't say it was comparable to realistically any of the ones in Brooke Finney's beard or even the Gold Coast Beach Chicane. I don't think it goes anywhere near either of them, unfortunately.
Mate, they've put sharks on the roof. Chuck it in Brooke Finney's beard. Sharks are sick. I don't have complex thoughts about this one. I really like it.
The sharks on top just did it for you. I love that. I love that vibe. I love it. Just the sharks just did it for you immediately.
I'd put it in Brooke Finney's beard. While it is a simple design, it is executed really well, and the sharks. When do you see sharks on a roof of a supercar like that? I think that alone gives it some merit to be like, hey, they were courageous enough to take that step. But sometimes simple is better, and if something simple is done well, then it looks really well. It looks really good. So I believe that.
I gotta agree. Brooke Finney's beard. It's not every day you see sharks on a livery, so I gotta go Brooke Finney's beard, to be honest. I like it. I think it's a really good livery. So yeah.
Oh yeah, Brooke Finney's beard, like I said, it just squeezed in, and the sharks, obviously, that was the biggest standout, the best standout of the entire livery. 3 here left here. Let's start off with Cam Waters' one. Now, I had a hard time deciding, to be honest. I felt like it was between the second and third tier, between Brooke Finney's beard and Kai Allen's cooking, because it was alright, but it was such a tough one because it was one of those ones where it's like, I wish you did it more, guys. Like I said, a lot of these I saw up close, so I can absolutely vouch. I feel like you could have given it a little bit more, Tickford. Like, it just wasn't quite squeezing it for me. Don't get me wrong, you guys at Tickford did an awesome job, even though you've been the butt of my jokes for about the last 18 months with you guys. But you guys just could have squeezed a little bit more in.
I have to be honest here for a second. I actually had to look it up again because
Oh.
I really, as a Cam Waters fan, I really was not vibing with the design this year. I don't know what it was. It was basic, but there was so much room on the front of that car that we could have done so much design and we could have had so much going on, and I probably would have seen it differently. Again, as a Waters fan, unfortunately, I would have to rank it at like Will Brown's haircut. I really think it was a very miss livery, especially out of the two Tickfords. I think it was very much a miss, unfortunately.
I was gonna go Kai Allen's cooking, but now that you say it, Cass, it makes a lot of sense. I think Tickford have set themselves a high bar, but I also think you know what you're gonna get with the number 6. You're gonna get the black monster car. So I reckon between those two tiers.
I would agree. Probably Kai Allen's Cooking. It was genuinely a nice car, but the monster car is always generally a really nice car.
I've got to say, Kai Allen's Cooking. Like, don't get me wrong, I like it, but it could have been better. I think they should have put a little bit more effort into it, and yeah, I don't really have much to say about this one, unfortunately. As someone that quite likes Cam Waters, I think it just could have been better.
Look, Cam, Tickford, I have respect for you guys, but story of the last 18 months of why I've been a butt of my jokes. Another missed opportunity, guys. Like, it was decent, guys, but you're like, we all say, it would be nice if you gave it a bit more effort this time. Right, we were down to the final two already, really. It's gone quickly here. We've got Thomas Randall's indigenous livery here. How do you feel about this one? This one was definitely a lot better. If you ask me where I put it though, tough one. It was between Brock Feeney's beard and Kai Allen's Cooking for me.
I probably put it Brock Feeney's beard. I think there's a lot more going on, but not in like not in a bad way where it's too much going on. I think it's got the perfect amount of just enough going on where you've got the beautiful design down the side of the car. You've got even the front bonnet has design on it and it looks really cohesive, really nice. The colors all flow together really well and it's not stand out in a negative or bad way. It's really just quite neat in itself.
I'm going to say the top of Kai Allen's Cooking, like ahead of JLB. I really liked it. I think it's really good. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair because Castrol have done some really nice liveries over the last 2 years. With the retro one, the silver car they had in New Zealand. So maybe it's a bit unfair to compare it to what they've done for other special liveries. It's not a bad livery. It's good. It looks good. But yeah, top of Kylan's Cooking for me.
Georgia, I know I haven't read a lot of her messages. I'll be going through it in the future. She's part of it. But she said this, I have to be that person. It looks like a Christmas tree. I just have to point it out really, but in a more beautiful way. Oh, God. Oh, God, George. Listen, here we go. Yeah, we'll hear you out, Georgia. While you're doing red, green, and white, Katie, what's your opinion on the indigenous livery that Thomas Randall was given? Where would you put this?
I'm always a sucker for a good white car that's done well. For example, the Adelaide Holden Thanks car, still one of my all-time favorites, and I have two models of it. But I feel like this car was done well. Castrol, you can't really go wrong with. They always hit it out of the park, whether it's the retro one or the indigenous one. To be honest with this one, it reminded me of the Sandown 2024 one, just the way that the colours worked and stuff like that. And I adored that one. Thought that was a really good use of colours. And I feel like this would go in Brock Feeney's beard. Again, it's simple. It's done well. So, yeah.
I've probably got to say Brock Feeney's beard. When I initially rated it, I did rate it a lot higher than Cam Waters. And to be honest, I just think it has... It's like, I don't know, there's a lot more effort being put into it. And I quite like the colour scheme of it, especially with the white livery. So I think Brock Feeney's beard.
Georgia, by the way, red, green, and white. She says, really. But yeah, it was a decent one, Tickford. And if you want to have inspiration for how you should do an indigenous livery, just look at what you did with Thomas Randall's car. That was a very nice one. Now, we've got a special one for the very last one. Now, as you know, Super 2 was at Darwin as well for the first time ever. And this was not one that I expected to see. Alice Buckley bought her indigenous livery to the Darwin round. And having seen it up close, it was absolutely stunning, really. And I actually got to hear her reason behind the livery and what the story was behind it. And hearing that was wonderful. Where would I rank it, though? Oh, as much as I loved you, Alice, I do think Kai Allen's Cooking, because for me, I did feel like the front was nice. Don't get me wrong. It was a wonderful design, but I just felt like it could have been nice if he carried that effort over to the rest of the car, really, because the front was nice, but then when I looked at the rest of it, the car, it was like, it's pretty much the same, really. But
I'd probably agree. I'd probably, if anything, I'd say high-end Kyle Allen's cooking, low-end Brock Feeney's beard. I think, as you've mentioned, it was a really, really nice livery. It was really well done, but it probably could have been carried a little bit more around the rest of the car. There were hints and little areas where you could see that there was a design that had been done, and it was really beautiful and really nice to see that, especially in a Super 2 like support category. But yeah, as you said, I think probably a little bit more effort, and it probably could have been a little bit higher on this tier list.
If it was a supercar livery, it would be sort of bottom end of Kyle Allen's cooking. But keeping in mind, this is a Super 2 car. The budget is not the same as these big supercar teams. Not to speculate, but maybe the budget wasn't there to put a design across the whole car. But I think it was a good effort. I think it's novel for Super 2. Great to see her bringing that vibe over to the support categories. I reckon the bottom of Brock Feeney's beard or the top of Kyle Allen's cooking.
I feel like it worked really well with the Castrol car again, and the colour scheme. I feel because it's her first year, she's being the only one doing the indigenous livery in the Super 2. It might take some time as well for her to, and Super 2 generally, just to figure out what makes a good indigenous livery, because generally speaking, I don't remember a time Super 2 have actually taken up that indigenous livery, and I feel next year she's going to come back even bigger and bolder now that she knows what an indigenous livery looks like and how she's been a pioneer for that. So, say Brock Feeney, bottom of Brock Feeney's beard, top of Kyle Allen's cooking.
I've probably got to say Kyle Allen's cooking. With it being a Super 2 car, I think she did, like the team did an amazing job, obviously trying to incorporate the indigenous liveries into it. So I think, yes, Kaya Allen's cooking, and as a Alice Buckley fan myself, I do think there could be a little bit more effort put into it, but yeah, Kaya Allen's cooking.
I think overall it's top of Kyle Allen's cooking, which is pretty much the regular consensus, because like I said, Alice, we love you. You did such an amazing job bringing it to Super 2, but it would be nice if you gave it a little bit more effort. And that's our tier list. Girls, thank you so much for your help tonight. It's been a lot of fun doing this with you guys, so thank you all so much for your help tonight. I'll put all their TikToks and all the other links in the description of this video. And I've made this public as well, so I want to hear from you guys what your ranking of the indigenous livery is like. Try it yourself as well, guys. I want to see what your tier listing is. Thank you all so much for watching.